Welcome to SJ Sharks Playoffs Live. I'm Randy Hahn along with Drew Remenda, coming to you after Game 1 that saw the Sharks defeat the Los Angeles Kings 6-3 to take the first game in the best-of-7 series. Partner, your takeaway from Game 1?
The first 40 minutes outstanding by the San Jose Sharks, playing exactly the way they want to play, dictating the play, being a physical team, like more physical probably than we've seen them all year, led by Raffi Torres, Andrew Desjardins, and Mike Brown. I thought they did a great job. They really got the game going, and then they took advantage of their opportunities, able to get to Jonathan Quick early, and that certainly helped lead them to the victory.
What about lessons learned, if you will, and I know it's going to lead to the third period of Game 1, and those lessons that can be applied to success in Game 2?
Number one, you're playing against the Stanley Cup championship team. So they're never out and they're never going to quit. Number two, you've got to make sure that in the defensive zone, you keep doing the things that got you where you were in the first two periods, which was get your feet moving, handle that pinch along the boards, handle their forecheck, and get it out quick. Out-support them, like hyper-support. And number three, you've got to make sure that in front of the net, you do your job, because LA is going to go to the net all the time. The X's and O's of the game still have to play an important factor. You can't ever think that you've won the game no matter what the score is.
Yeah, and you've got to think in Game 2, Jonathan Quick's going to be tighter. The whole LA approach is going to be more of a smothering defensive style to keep that score low, because that's where they thrive.
That's their game. Their game is to play great defensive hockey. Jonathan Quick's not going to let in 5 goals. There's no way that's going to happen again. He may not let in 5 goals in the next 2 games, so you're going to have to win the close games against Jonathan Quick.
All right, time for our guest. It is the great Mike Ricci joining us now, a Stanley Cup champion himself with the Colorado Avalanche. Mike, your takeaway from Game 1, Sharks' victory over LA?
Well, I think Drew covered it. Obviously, the coaches are probably pretty happy with the first 40 minutes and may have learned a lesson that we can't take the foot off the gas. That team will come back, and learned it's going to be a great series, that's for sure.
Mike, you've won a Stanley Cup. You've been in that situation where you go from Game 1 to Game 2 after winning the first game. What's important for the team going into Game 2?
I think it's understanding that it's Game 2. Game 1's going to have no bearing on it. They're probably going to complain to the rep about a few things, so you're going to have to be a lot more disciplined. We're going to complain a little bit too, and referees are going to be a little bit more on alert. I think our guys just have to realize that it is Game 2, and Game 1 has no bearing on Sunday's game.
When you look at the fact that you just talked about it, the lobbying that goes back and forth, something maybe the fans don't know about, a lot of that goes on behind the scenes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's something that happens. Every game means so much, and you understand why, and you want to get every edge. So our team has to be aware that we just have to go out and play the way we did the first 40 minutes and continue to do it. They're going to have success. They're a great hockey team. They're going to have time when they're going to have some success. But if we do the right things and limit that, I think we'll have a good chance of winning.
Mike, you've had enough time to reflect on your Stanley Cup championship with Colorado back in the day. Is there one thing that sticks out in your mind more than anything that got you and your teammates through 4 rounds?
Well, I think our chemistry and our belief, and you do love each other. You're a team, but I think our belief in each other. We knew everyone was going to do their job. I don't think we ever had to talk about, hey, you do your job, we'll be all right. It was always, and I think the one thing that team had was no matter what. If we lost a game, we knew the next game was a different game. We were going to come back better. If we won a game, we kind of knew we had to come back even better the next game, because we knew that team was going to be a little bit more mad. So I think we had it figured out then. We'd had some playoff defeats as a team, and we know what it takes. So we kind of got kicked around a little bit, and we learned our lessons, and we used those lessons that year.
Mike, thanks for doing this.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Mike Ricci, now with the Sharks in player development, and we thank him for stopping by. All right, time for your questions now, and we have a special hashtag on Twitter, and I know you love the Twitter machine, Drew.
Huge with the Twitter machine.
Hashtag SJ Sharks Playoffs Live. Hashtag SJ Sharks Playoffs Live. Submit your questions there, and who knows, we may read them and answer them, or try to right here. Here's our first question from CJ, and he says, LA will be desperate in Game 2. How do the Sharks dictate the game the way they did in Game 1?
Well, dictate the game being the key phrase there. Be physical. Use your forecheck to your advantage. Have the initiative right off the bat to go after the body. Initiate, get engaged, get your nose over the puck. The willingness to be physical and to get after the LA Kings. That's how you dictate any game.
All right, second question will be from Nathan. He says, how does this Sharks team compare to the recent past? Well, I think if you just go back a season or two, I think, you look at those third and fourth lines. Joe Thornton's been here. The Marlows, the Pavelskis, the Coutures, players like that. They've been around. What the Sharks have lacked, I think, in a big way, has been that third and fourth line play. We're only one game in. Those lines were very important in the Game 1 win. That's, I think, a key to watch throughout this series. And if the Sharks go beyond round one throughout the playoffs to see how those second and third lines perform.
Other thing I'd add to that is what Mike Ricci just talked about. There seems to be a belief in each other in that dressing room that more than we've seen.
And a relaxation, too. I found that the players were very loose before Game 1. Final question from Ramon. How critical was it having Rafi Torres back on the forecheck?
Huge, obviously. I mean, he made a huge difference. And Todd McClellan talked that he was going to be the X factor in this series. It's going to be a gigantic. If Rafi can stay healthy and be in this series the whole time, it's going to swing the favor in the Sharks' way big time. And let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Is that how the Twitter questions come to you? Do they come to you in a card? Does it kick out of the computer?
It does. It actually comes right out of my smartphone.
Wow, that's wild. Do you have to restock the paper?
No, it's just automatic. It downloads by itself right into my phone.
Amazing stuff.
Stick that into your smartphone and tweet it. All right, that is it for this edition of SJ Sharks Playoffs Live. Again, use the hashtag SJ Sharks Playoff Live for your questions for our third show following Game 2. By the way, Game 2, of course, on Comcast Sportsnet California with yours truly and the great Drew Remenda. We'll be on the air at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time with the play-by-play pregame at 6:30 with Brody Brazil and company. Same drill on the radio side with Jamie Baker and Dan Rusanowski. 6:30 Pacific Sunday for Game 2 on KFOX and the Sharks Radio Network. And don't forget, nationally, we're also seen on NBC Sports Network, but not in the Bay Area or Los Angeles marketplaces, but in the rest of the country. Got it?
Hashtag, you're really good at this.
Thank you. We'll see you after Game 2.